So it is the middle of the night and I can't sleep. I'm actually thinking about some nails that I did today on like a new little client, a new nail model, and she picked some really pretty nails to do, and they seemed easy enough. Granted, it was a shape that I had never done before, but I had done similar, so it was like the ballet shoe shape. And of course, I've done coffin nails before, and I knew how the ballet shape was a little bit different, from the coffin shape, but I figured easy enough. I was using some new acrylic that I had never used before, which I'm kind of learning that if I haven't used an acrylic before, it might be best to try that like on a practice hand before I ever like sit down with a client, because some things were going weird with the acrylic by the time I got to the second hand, and I wasn't sure why. I don't know if it's because we turned on the AC, so things were just setting differently, but there were just several things that came up during the service that I was just like a little bit like, I'm perplexed about it now and worried that maybe they didn't turn out as good as I had hoped. So you guys know I take a long time when I do nails. Acrylic is not my strong suit, but I do need to practice with it, because the more I practice, then of course the more things I run into, like today, and then I have to kind of think through things. So that's what I'm doing now. So let me kind of back up. We'll start with, she had a beautiful set of hands, absolutely beautiful, really long nail beds, which are just wow. If you're lucky enough to have that, that's fabulous. So I was really excited, and it was, like I said, some nails I had never done before, and so I was real excited to get started, and we did get started, and it was going really, really well. The first kind of thing I ran into that was like, I need to kind of rethink this, is so we're using some colored acrylic, and this has happened to me before, and I can't believe I haven't learned my lesson yet. I mean, it's only happened to me one other time before, but still I should have learned my lesson. So sometimes, I lay down my clear layer first to get my shape and everything, which I always find is kind of hard to see where my clear is. I don't know why I have such a trouble with that, but where my lines are when I lay my clear down, I feel like I have a hard time like seeing them real well. But then, so then I laid my colored acrylic down. Well, the colored acrylic was supposed to be kind of like a solid cover color, and I was realizing that I had to make it kind of thicker in order to get the color to kind of cover the whole nail bed. And then I was like, well, now I'm making the nail so thick that when I shave it down, like I feel like I need to, in order for it to be a pretty shaped nail, and nice and thin, I'm taking off the color. So, I need to remember that on those ones, probably just don't use the clear layer underneath and just do that color. That way I leave room for myself and can make it like a solid enough color where it goes on well. But the next thing is, like I said, don't use acrylic unless you've used it, like that particular acrylic, unless you've used it before. That's another tip that I learned today, just for myself. I'm not saying you, but me, I need to do that. The next thing was, so when I got to the second hand, like stuff just wasn't setting right. And like when I let it sit a long time, but it wasn't like firming up all the way. It was just kind of gummy. So when I went to remove my form from the extension, on several of them, it just like tore the whole thing off. And I was like, what is going on? But I mean, it could have been the room temperature. The other thing I thought about was, because I had traveled, to somebody else's house, and I didn't bring my napkins, which is on me, and also I didn't bring my light, so I couldn't see as well as what I would have liked to. So I need to remember in the future, bring those things with me whenever I travel. Don't just count on somebody else to have those things, because then I think I didn't clean my brush as much as what I would have liked to. And I think that may have like gummed up a little bit by the time maybe I got to the second set of nails, and then maybe my mixture just wasn't mixing out right. That was the other thing I thought about. So there were a couple nails on that last hand that I didn't want to make any bigger on the top, but I did want to add some more support just because that it didn't feel like it was really firming up, and I was like, why is this acting like this? So I added like a little bit of acrylic underneath on the underside, and I was just gonna like shape that, you know, with my e-file on the, like the finish filing part. And then like I was kind of pressed for time because she didn't realize it was going to take as long as what it takes for me to do. And then she had like family waiting for her, and so she had to go. And I feel like in the last like 30 minutes I was going scrambling like so hard to kind of fix what I could and get things right, that I think that there were a couple nails I did not end up like finish filing underneath the nail that I meant to. And I don't know if that's the case or not, but it's bugging me. And it's bugging me because I feel like I got flustered a little bit when I was hitting so many like things that were going wrong, and I think I caused that to kind of get in my head. And yeah, I just don't like, I don't work well under that kind of situation, and I'm better than that. And so even though this was a hand model, so it wasn't like a paying client, but I treat those clients, of course, just like I would any other client, and I want to do a really, really good job. And this is a learning experience, so, but you can see it's really bothering me. It's obviously. So yeah, I don't know. I'll have to check with her and see, but I'm worried about it. So I figured I'd come on here, let you guys kind of know what's going on in my head. And if you guys have had this come up before, which I'm sure if you've been doing nails for a while, you surely have come across these things. This is one thing too that I'm noticing, like when you don't work in a nail salon and you come across things as you're working and you're like, I wish I had somebody to like help me make decisions on what's going on here, or what's the best way to handle this, you know, like as you're doing it. Because I always find out like maybe I didn't handle things in the ways that maybe was a better idea of how to do things. Like when I realized that the acrylic was being really weird and it was not being normal. Hang on. I should have just stopped what I was doing and started over with a fresh form. But see, that took more time, and I knew she was pressed for time, so I let things kind of get to me. Anyway, I would love to hear your thoughts on maybe what you what you do when you're having this kind of a afterthought, and maybe better ideas are coming to your head of how you should have handled it. And yeah, I don't have her number or anything, so I'm not able to reach back out to her and let her know what I'm thinking. Maybe she will catch this, maybe she won't. But if she does, I hope she knows that I really did try my absolute best. And I thought I really do think the nails came out beautiful. I mean, I posted a picture of them on my thing, so you can take a look at them and everything. Anyway, that's what's going through my head. And I will talk to you guys tomorrow.